okay, I'm 100% P&T. Should I get this question, Jason? I know I'm going to assume you do too. I'm 100% P&T. Should I submit for PACT Act claims, or should I submit for my knees or whatever else? I definitely have my thoughts on this. I want to know what your thoughts are first, and then I'll kind of give my
look.
Everyone
Clay,
loves my 2 cents. So
hey, look, this world is so nuanced. We say that all the time, and it's so true. I'll give you the easiest yes answer that you should. Okay, just as an example. So veterans 100% permanent and total, they just got it 2 years ago, right? For a bunch of random things, right? Migraine, headaches. They got the old GERD, so they're happy about that. They got a little mental health stuff, a couple other conditions, bad back. They got insomnia, whatever, right? So they have some stuff from a couple years ago that all worked in. There's been changes to the VA's rating schedule. Be aware that life isn't the same. So they know this, and they're a little bit apprehensive to file a new claim, even though it's a PACT Act related claim, because they're 100% permanent and total. Well, their PACT Act related claim that they would file for is a presumptive condition. So every time you hear PACT Act claim, it's not like they've created new ailments in the world. No, the ailments are still the same ailments. What they did was they said, look, these are now presumptives. That's all they're doing. Mm-hmm. So now their presumptive condition that they would be filing for, again, we have thousands of different, well, not really, but we got a bunch of different things we could pick here. It's a cancer. It's a very aggressive, horrific cancer. They're probably going to die from this cancer. Would you file that? Well, yeah. Hell yeah, I'd file it. Why? Because, one, the VA is not going to most likely do anything with my permanent and total 100% that I already have, because they've already deemed me permanent and total, because all of my conditions currently are already static in the VA's eyes, meaning that they're not likely to get better. They don't think that they're going to get better for whatever reasons, right? You're over 55 years of age. You've provided documentation that your condition has been the same for the past 5 years, or it's just a static type of a condition. Like, it's one of those things that just they don't really go away. You just kind of live with it, and it's probably only going to get worse. Whatever the story is, the VA has already given up on you in a sense, as far as thinking that you're going to magically get better. Now, even if you magically got better 6 months ago, right? Your cancer that's horrendous, and you're most likely going to die from it, would make you 100% anyway. So even if you fell in this weird boat of I'm 100% P&T, but I magically got healed because I stepped on some sort of a magical bush in the middle of a magical garden somewhere. So I'm talking about a very small, tiny group of people, right? Most people are going to be in my life still sucks from 2 years ago. I'm still exactly the same. I'm actually probably a little bit worse. My hips suck worse. I bend over worse when I get out of the car than I ever used to, whatever it is. But this cancer that you have, filing that as a presumptive condition, PACT Act claim, which you said, right? You're 100% permanent and total, PACT Act claim, cancer, bam, I get awarded. Now I'm awarded that. It's service connected. Now, doesn't change anything for you, except for maybe you can slide over to some SMC, depending on what the condition is and your overall circumstances and all that stuff, because now you have higher rating. There might be additional things. Who knows? But the big piece is when you pass, it's going to make it much easier for your surviving spouse, or if you had dependent parents or a dependent child, whatever, to get dependency indemnity compensation. You think navigating the VA compensation system is fun and easy? Imagine being a surviving spouse who now has to prove a service connection in order to then get DIC, right? It's a horrible place to be, and digging through your passed away spouse's medical records and trying to decipher that 2 months after they passed away, because you're trying to look, lower that bar down, get service connected for it. Now you're squared away. That would be one reason. I have like 5 more reasons why you would want to, but I'm going to kick it back to you, and then I'll go again.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on the no train, actually. There are scenarios where it is a yes, it's a clear yes, but I do think I would argue that the overwhelming majority, and I'm probably talking like 98%, 99% of all veterans that are 100% PNC don't need to worry about submitting PACT Act claim. And I'm going to use myself as an example, right? I was denied IBS, which is it is presumptive under MUCMIs. I don't even want to go down that train. That one is actually confusing. But this was pre-August of 22. Could I file for it now? I absolutely could. What would I gain from it? Nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. So if you're talking like the asthma, sinusitis, rhinitis, those type conditions, if you're PNT, there's just nothing to gain from it. Now, I will say that the let's call it poking the bear, which I absolutely hate that phrase, but whatever, we'll say it today. You're 100% PNT. If I filed for IBS or if you filed for rhinitis or sinusitis, is that going to lose your PNT? No. Okay. No, it will not. Unless you fall on that I've been magically healed. But for the overwhelming majority of veterans, there's no reason to do anything after PNT unless you fall into these categories that Jason's talking about. And I can probably tell you the most people I've met. I talked to when I went to this Maryland event that had VSOs and VHA personnel there last week. And I spoke to a lady who was older and her husband had passed away, and she had submitted a DIC claim for hypertension. For her husband for hypertension because he had died of a heart attack. I think that specific scenario is actually more common than what we think, especially for the Vietnam era and hypertension related claims. But if we're talking like you have a stuffy nose and that 10% rhinitis is what's going to, change your world at 100% PNT, it's not. So the majority, I would say no, but there are these niche situations, especially the time criteria there, when a veteran should submit for that. I think cancer is an overwhelming yes. If you have a cancer, there's absolutely zero reason why you especially if it's presumptive, reason why you should not claim it at all. It's just your life.
And just to throw out there, I mean, the PACT Act is filled with cancers for the presumptive claims. So when you say, should a veteran file a PACT Act claim if they're already 100% permanent and total, well, about 50% or more are actually cancers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What we just talked about, the 3 new conditions, one of them is male breast cancer. If I had breast cancer today, I swear on my life, I would submit that claim, right? I think cancers are overwhelming yes. I think hypertension is an overwhelming yes. But the small things like sinusitis, rhinitis, my skin condition that could be presumptive, your PNT, what is there to gain? You're kind of just wasting time at that point. And it's not, there's not a wrong or right answer. It's just what you feel. Go ahead.
Well, and here's a little statement from one of the, and again, I just tried to pull up something so I could just read it off of somebody else's thing and whatever, it's close enough. So there, again, filled with nuance. All right. So, but this is just an example, right? So this is off of one of the attorneys' websites, the attorneys that do all the veteran stuff, right? So SMC, Special Monthly Compensation S, okay, SMC-S, is designed for veterans who are, in most cases, confined to their home due to service-connected disabilities. Veterans who are 100% or TDIU, which is paid down at 100%, for one single condition and rated 60% for their other combined conditions. So if you're 100% permanent and total, but you lack that additional 60%, the new condition might take you to the 60%, right? Could then land you to be eligible for SMC-S based on the severity of the condition. So everybody's situation's different. I'm just saying that you need to, don't make that decision lightly. Don't make it by yourself. Talk to somebody, an accredited representative, about your overall situation to determine whether or not you should or should not. If the new condition is some sort of skin condition that is like, okay, it's small. It's going to be a 10% rating. Who cares? Maybe it's going to pay you what, Clay?
Yeah, the whatever SMCS is.
Well, no, the skin condition for your clothing allowance. So it could be a small skin condition. Who cares, right? It's a small rating. Nobody cares. It's nothing. But guess what? That's going to maybe allot you that additional clothing allowance of nearly $1,000 per year. That's kind of nice. I'm just saying that, you shouldn't just say no because I am 100% permanent in total. There's so many different variances. The fact that SMCs could potentially be available. Maybe you have an ED condition that just, I was going to say arose. Maybe it didn't arise. And so now you need to go get seen for that. And maybe that is a service-connected condition. And that's going to land you into, you're thinking, well, I'm already 100% permanent total. Who cares? Well, maybe you're going to get some more, right? So I guess my takeaway is you need to, there's so much knee-jerk reaction in this space, and that's what I hate. I hate that somebody hears one thing somewhere from me, from you, from anybody else. They hear one version and they knee-jerk it, and then that's forever. That's no, you just don't do that. You don't poke the bear, right? Well, no, sometimes you need to, and it's not that big of a deal, and it's not really that scary. It's Winnie the Pooh. I mean, who cares, right? So it just depends on the circumstances. Now, yes, I agree with you, Clay. If it was, I can't even think of something, right? If I'm 100% permanent in total and I never filed for or got my radiculopathy for my, my 10% for each leg, right? Am I going to jump through the hurdles for that? Yeah. Probably not, because my back kind of hurts. So I don't really want to jump, right? So probably not. So there are reasons not to, but again, look, call, make an appointment with an accredited rep, have a conversation with them, see what they think, right? Have enough information to at least be dangerous, right? Would this warrant additional money? Would this make DIC easier for a spouse or a loved one? Remember that this isn't a DIC video, but dependency indemnity compensation, if you're 100% or TDIU for 10 years, you can pass away from anything. Now, there's even a caveat to that if you got rated basically during service and then you got out and you were already 100%, then it's only 5 years, something like that. But for most of us, it's the 10-year 100%, you could pass away from anything. If it's less than that, for most of us, it's you have to have passed away from a service-connected condition or have that service-connected condition listed as a contributing cause on the death certificate. Very important stuff. So with that, I'm starting to get all wired up here. It's my it might be my ginger ale or my coffee. I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth. Yay.
This Chick-fil-A sweet tea is what you're missing out on. But,
yeah, right. Yes.
I'm glad you brought out SMCs because I had a coworker a few years ago who was 100% P&T, had a cancer. This was pre-PACT Act. PACT Act comes, it's established, boom, the cancer's on it. He had filed for cancer. Prime example, got 100% from the cancer by itself and then rated the housebound, and he also retired. So prime example of there's so many. I'm so glad you brought up the, people will hear one thing, totally disregard the context of that situation, and just kind of run with that. And then all of a sudden you got veterans telling people, never, ever submit PACT Act claims if you're P&T. It's like, well, probably you're correct, but there's some other things you at least need to know before making those. But that's such a great point, Jason.